What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? And boy, do we have a show for y'all today. I'm talking about it is so much going on in the world of sports right now. From a star running back getting arrested, we got a lot on these NBA coaching searches, and the New York Knicks are going to the finals. Y'all know we got to talk about it. Keep it locked. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to an all-new episode of On My Sports. As always, it's your boy, John J. And with me, once again, is my dog, D Snow from the Go. What's going on, family?
Man, you already know, man, another day in the life, just getting off work like all of our, fans and, regular people that's checking us out do, and just seeing what's going on in this world, this wide world of sports, man. It's so much going on from different sports all around. So this is that exciting time of the year.
Ain't it, man? Yeah, it's turned up right now. It's turned up right now. And so, when we do these, and first off, ladies and gentlemen, do your boys a solid and drop a like. Share this show. Let your boys know that this is where we get busy at. This is where we talking that talk. But ladies and gentlemen, when we prepare this show, we basically I jot down a bunch of notes or some topics that's hot, and we got a full list of things to go over. So we can have plenty of topics for each show. But every so often, some news comes across that kind of changes things. And just before we went live, I'm seeing it now all across my screen, is Green Bay Packers star running back Joshua Jacobs has been arrested facing domestic violence charges. D Snow from the Go. This is a reaction channel essentially. So it's time to react. It's time to react. I was just looking at some of the charges they put on the kid. They say Jacobs 28 was booked on charges of battery, domestic abuse, criminal damage to property, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, strangulation and suffocation, and intimidation of a victim. And so 4 charges. The strangulation and suffocation charge is a felony, and then the other 4 charges are misdemeanors. But that strangulation and suffocation, that kept them held in, that kept them behind bars, held without bond. The Snow. The kid is in Wisconsin, in jail in Wisconsin. What are your first thoughts? What's your reaction to that? With just a little bit of details we know.
All right, my first reaction is go, Pack, go. As a Bears fan, I love to hear it. Go, Pack, go. Do y'all
I don't love
thing,
to hear domestic.
Hey, I don't never want to hear about no woman getting some hands put on her. I hope that's not what happened. And one thing we are seeing a lot of these days is we're seeing false accusations. So until we really see some proof, it's not like Ray Rice where we got a video of him knocking his girl out cold in the elevator. That was a whole different look. So hopefully nothing like that.
Not yet, at least, because that didn't come out right away. We heard the rumors first, and then that came out and it killed his excuse.
Same thing with Diddy. Diddy had the rumors. He kept saying, I didn't do it. Then the Cassie video dropped, and that was it. Everything changed after that. So hopefully there's no footage. Hopefully he can figure out, because one thing I don't never want to see no black man in jail. No man in jail. But if this is what he did, hey, he deserves to be exactly where he is. I think you said he has no bond. We talked about it a little bit before the show. In the Midwest, they passed some laws years ago after the big Drew Peterson thing, where the guy that, killed a couple of his wives and got away with it. And then, they caught up to him later. So they passed a lot of laws where they're really against domestic violence. That's one of the things they don't play with. So if he does get proven guilty, we might not see him for a while. But we know, at least for now, as a Bears fan, as a, NFC, North guy, that, he's going to probably be gone for at least 4 games or more. So that's going to help us out. and that'll put a little bit of a cloud over that team because I mean he is a big part of their offense. So I hate to see it. I want good competition on the field, but on the other side of it, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do and be happy with the spoils that are given to you in these wars.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the whole Bears aspect, is D Snow. I don't know why these guys keep falling down the same path, man. Why? How is it that we're not using previous examples as examples? What they are, you know? How do we keep falling victim to this same thing? It's always domestic. It's constantly domestic, and
I
it's
think CTE is got a little bit to do with this, man. These dudes aren't okay up top. You know, especially
that's a
running
good
back.
point.
They take a lot of hits.
That's a good point. That's a good point, especially at a running back, and somebody like Josh Jacobs was taking a lot of hits,
A lot of
e-
hits, bro.
even from
He
his
took he
time
hey,
with
he took that
Vegas
ball a lot.
and before that. Yeah,
And you know, we always look back at Aaron Hernandez. We had no idea. We didn't see it. We had no idea what was really going on inside that head. Because on the field, the kid was lights out. He would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know, he was a true player. But man, we seen it in live living color. That dude took some hits that some people quit the game after that. I mean, Aaron Hernandez got rocked a couple of times, real bad on camera. So imagine the ones we don't see in practice. High school, college, you know, this stuff adds up after a while. And I really hope that they find a way to, you know, help these guys. I see some of the guys are starting to wear the special helmet. They get joked on. But hey, if you're a racing fan, in the beginning, they never used these harnesses in the cars. These guys were just out there in the seatbelt racing on these tracks, going 200 plus an hour. And then they started, you know, introducing this harness that would help you so you could survive. And some guys wouldn't wear it at first. They laughed at other guys. Now they all wear it. So I'm hoping that, you know, something like that transforms over to football because we love the game. The game is growing. And, you know, we're seeing guys taking their own lives or doing this kind of stuff on a weekly, monthly basis. And it's most of the time ex-football players, and a lot of times they're young. So, you know, my prayers go out to everybody, the families, everybody that's being affected. But football has to do something to make sure these guys are okay.
yeah. It might end up eventually becoming a situation where they force teams to force players to wear
Yeah,
this
yeah.
protective equipment. Because see, right now there's no way to test for CTE on a living person. You can't
Mm,
test until they're deceased. So you
yeah,
don't
wow.
know what type of damage is being done. So the guys this not wearing these guardian caps and whatnot, you don't really know. There's no way to tell how affected they are. So I think
And I
eventually
think
they're gonna take the decision out of their hands.
And one last thing before I let you continue, and I think they reported that Aaron Hernandez had the worst case of CTE they've ever seen. When they after they did that, did the little thing on his brain. They said it was bad, like it was really, really bad. So he
He has so
wasn't
many
in the right
concussions.
mind when he made decisions. He was
I
making
just
decisions off impulse and just off things that wasn't real, you know?
I just not too long ago, and I looked into this story for years. It's been around for a long time, but it just so happened to come across my timeline, and I ended up watching a video about Chris Benoit, WWE. It might have been
Yeah,
WWF at the time,
man.
but the whole
Yeah, that
situation
was
with
a
him and his
sad story,
family.
bro.
But you talking about a case of CTE, they show his brain scan, and that was it was completely deteriorating. It
Hey,
was
if
ridiculous.
you're a wrestling fan, that dude was doing all the crazy moves, jumping off the top ropes, high
Well,
kicks, jumping
his
over the ropes out the ring.
his finisher was a off the top rope headbutt. So
Yeah,
think about how
yeah.
many matches he did. He ended every match with that move.
Sometimes it'll hit like they wanted to. Sometimes
Even
that's
if it
your
hit
head.
even if it hit like they wanted to. There was no way to
Yeah.
test what it was
Every time
doing.
that head bouncing like that, you're shaking up that brain. Something
You
that
know,
wasn't supposed to happen in real life.
they was talking about one of the other wrestlers had mentioned that he had started it was a former wrestler that became like a neurologist or something like that. He had quit he retired early and ended up writing a book and was one of the initial voices for CTE. And he talked about when he was still there. I guess he had wrote a story or wrote up a little something about concussions. And Chris Benoit was talking to him about it, and he was like, "How many concussions have you had?" And the guy told, I forgot the number that the guy told him, and Chris Benoit was like, "I don't even. I've had so many, I can't even count."
Wow.
And it was just that alone was like, bro, like, what do you mean you can't count how many concussions that you've had? That is severe damage to your brain.
Look, and we old enough to remember when guys used to get hit on the football field and they would give them the smelling salt on camera. And you see these guys come over looking all kind of dazed and confused. You just see them shake up. Like, bro, imagine what that was doing to their brains when they were doing that. You already, and this to give you a case in point. My daughter plays softball. She's in college. She got hurt over the summer playing with her little cousin, just messing around and hit her head. She was in concussion protocol. She did not even hit this whole season. She only pitched. She hit maybe a couple of times because she had little things. It's been almost a year. She's still dealing with little lingering things from this first concussion ever. And this was all just them playing around. This is not full pad running 100 miles an hour in the stuff that we see on the football field. Talking about just a regular add-on concussion. And this is how they've taken her along to the point that it slowed her career down because they wanted to make sure she was okay. So it's kind of sad. It's like, and it's funny too because I always remember on the Jetsons that the football players were all robots. Hey, that could be where we end up being one day, man. So this way we can enjoy the hits and enjoy the craziness without people losing their lives. I don't want to see nobody lose their livelihood, but
I want to
man,
keep. I want it to
if we
continue to
keep,
be human beings, but
yeah,
I
man, when
feel
it's
you. They got
over,
to
I
do
want these
something.
guys to still be okay.
Yeah, I want it to be real people doing it, but I agree something's got to change. They're gonna have to take the
Imagine
decision out of their
JJ watching
hands.
the the combine and it's all rope.
Like, what's the point of watching it? Like, what am I watching? Programming? Like,
Right. We know what everybody's coming with. Everybody got Teslas under their engine.
It's like, why are the robots running a 40? Well, like, you just control whatever speed you want them to
Hey,
run. Like,
hey, because of the movies like the Terminator and stuff like that, I don't think we ever gonna go there. We don't want the robots to charge.
I Robot. I Robot is a scary idea.
For
But
real.
and I don't know if that's the cause. I don't want to give excuses if they don't need to be given. But this is a real conversation, and that is
For sure.
a factor, I would think. And we also don't know what's real and what's not, what's true in this story, because we know that there are a lot of false accusations.
Yeah.
So I don't want to point fingers at either side without knowing all of the details. This is right now just a fresh reaction to the news that literally just came across our screens. So, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely want to hear from y'all. Get down on those comments and let us know your thoughts on this, because I mean, it's sickening how often this is starting to happen.
Yeah.
But you also can't deny the possibility of CTE. That is a real thing, and it really affects how a person thinks. What you know to be wrong, you no longer know to be wrong, and essentially. But moving on, D Snow, the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are in the finals, D Snow. Oh my God! What's your immediate reaction to that after you saw the Knicks pull that off yesterday in embarrassing fashion?
I think we talked about it on the last pod. I got a special place in my heart for the Knicks because my boy D Rose did play there. He was traded there, and that was a sad moment in Bulls history for Bulls fans. And I'll never forget that. But D Rose did spend some time there, and it was a good moment. They treated him with a lot of love. They treated my man good, so I'm never gonna forget that. And hey, shout out to New York, man. We always talk about it. That's the Mecca. Hey, we talk about how when New York is a part of the things that are, and I don't care what sport it is, baseball, basketball, football, hockey. When New York is a part of the playoffs and a part of the championship, it's good for the sport because it's so. Did you see in Cleveland how many New York Knicks fans was in that?
Yeah,
Hey,
it was
Cleveland should be
crazy.
ashamed of themselves. Like, did y'all all just know y'all was going home and sold y'all tickets to New York Knicks fans? Like that was ridiculous. How many Knicks fans were in the building? New York and Cleveland are not close to each other. That's not a quick drive down the street. So that showed me that what I've been saying. Hey, New York has been craving for this. I know the Liberty, did their little thing. That was exciting, but that's nothing like the Knicks making it. seeing all of the, vets in the building, all of the Hall of Famers. I mean, Spreewell is in the building again. Like, man, this is so cool for basketball, for the moment, for culture. And you got to be happy for them, man. Especially because, I mean, the guy leading their team, the Eastern Conference MVP, is a Chicago guy. So, I can't do nothing but, shout them out. Hey, the Villanova Knicks are balling. That's who they are. All they missing is DiVincenzo, but man, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Cat. Cat gets drugged through the mud constantly, for a lot of things. So to see these guys make it over that hump and get to that next level,
Cat extra
it's an
spicy.
exciting moment for basketball, man.
Cat be extra spicy. That's why he be getting dragged.
Hey, he do be. Hey. And did you see when they were doing the trophies at the end? For one, hey, Jalen Russell wasn't having it with your boy Josh Hart. Hey, he pushed him away first. He walked away. And then when they started talk to Josh Hart, he must have smacked him in the back of the head or something like hard. Like, bro, I know they friends, but y'all doing too much on camera. Like, what God? I was like, and Josh looked at me, I said, man, that's what real brother. That's how real brothers are.
Having fun.
Real brothers, I like that. So I love seeing the relationship, the whole camaraderie. And shout out to their coach, man. Shout out to their coach, because now they know people can't say, oh, you only been to the finals because of LeBron. So I'm happy for that, man. I think he's a decent coach, and that's what a lot of people said. So this is a little check mark in his little playbook too.
I'm glad you ended with playbook. That's a funny way to end without knowing what I'm about to say. Because I heard an interesting thing that apparently had been out there, but I just personally heard it yesterday or today. It might have been this morning. But Mike Brown, the coach of the Knicks, they're still using Tibbs' playbook. They still using Tibbs' playbook. Only thing he changed is a smile. Tibbs don't smile. That's the only difference.
Yeah,
they still using Tibbs' playbook.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. If it ain't broke, don't
Dirty
try to
work.
Hey, they're in the finals, man. He following the Steve Kerr playbook.
No, he's following the Tibbs playbook.
And we gonna win these shit.
No, for real. I laughed so hard when I heard that. I said, "What? They still
the
using
funniest
Tibbs'
thing to me
playbook?"
about that series is, they've been like really playing lights out for a lot of games. And then all of a sudden in game one, they kind of hit like a little spot. They them first 3 quarters they weren't playing with. And they decided, you know what? This is what we're going to do. Give it to Jaylen Brown. Let's do a lot of switching and get Harden on him, and you go to work. That was the game plan.
And they broke their spirit in game one.
Man, because Harden didn't even really play that bad this series. He's an older player. Y'all expecting 25 to 31-year-old Harden to show up. He's not. He's going to have some good games, and he's going to have some okay games. And I feel bad for them because at the end of the day, they really did. They've had a couple of good seasons, but they're not going that far. It's crazy, Even though I think they got a solid team. It might be time for a new coach there.
It's absolutely time for a new coach because they got more than a solid team. They have a really, really good team. They should be a contender with that team regularly. It's definitely time for a coaching change, and I definitely want to get into that. But before, one other thing I want to mention about this Knicks in the finals is something I saw this morning that I thought was interesting. Darren Rovell put out a tweet, and he's comparing the price of the tickets from the 1994 finals with the Knicks till now in 2026. Section 425, all the way up top, some nosebleed type stuff. In 1994 was $35. In 2026, that ticket is $1,725. All the way up top.
Did you see Aiden Ross's post? He said that he's taking his mom courtside, $500K for those 2 tickets.
I saw that.
So you can either get a house in the hills or a night out on the town. New York, man. New York gonna eat off this.
Think about how many people spending their tax checks to sit in Section 400.
Bro, it's their chance to win the finals, man. They ain't been to the finals since the 90s. They ain't won since the 70s.
So you go up or go down to Section 213, mid-tier. In 94, it was $60. 2026 is $2,127 in the 200 level. To go down to the 100 level, this ain't ground, this ain't courtside, it's just 100. In 94 was $125. Now, $3,392.
I mean, that's 300% inflation.
Jesus. The range of ticket prices is going between $1,868 to $6,325. And like you said, courtsides is going for $500,000.
$500,000. And it's gonna be full in that standing room and all. What? It's gonna be crazy inside and outside of that stadium, man. There's no way, no matter who they play, they might get game one off just pure energy in New York, man. You got, because it's gonna be loud in that. They got one of those old stadiums too. It's gonna be loud in Madison Square.
Side note: now I've never been to New York, to Madison Square. I've never ever been to New York, period. So I can't speak from experience, but I've been to multiple stadiums, and and usually you got a parking situation where you park in one spot and then you walk over to the game. With ticket prices like that in New York, D-Snow ain't no way in hell I'm driving to the game. I'm catching
everybody catching a train. No,
I'm catching a train. I'm catching an Uber or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I want to catch the train.
Can't even get in there, man.
It ain't about traffic. It's not about getting in. It's about everybody at that game got bread. You are all a mark.
Man, they're gonna be robbing so many houses.
Everybody is getting robbed. If I'm going to that game,
you said it, I was like, "Ooh, I see the whole picture now."
If I'm going to the game,
hopefully we didn't get nobody any ideas, man.
They already had them. They already had them. We ain't giving nobody ideas.
From Timothy Chalamet all the way down to.
I need to get pulled. I need to get dropped off at the door. I need to get picked up at the door. I'm leaving
security out. I'm leaving my security system on with somebody at the house.
Yeah, it don't. Everybody walking in. It don't matter who it is. Mark.
Man. It might be like Chicago, man. Like they love their team. When the Bulls was winning, it seemed like everybody was in love at Chicago. It wasn't as much drama.
I mean it's 2026. Nobody cares. Like everybody love their team, but a mark is a mark.
Yeah, you're right.
Plain and simple.
So that means we all know what the life is like. Facebook and Twitter and all that, showing off your expensive tickets, talking about you're not going to be at home. Post it after the game. Post it after you go. Do not post before, because you are giving them open range. And the thing is, these days, the people that rob you is usually somebody close to you. So don't tell everybody what you got going on that night.
If it's anything like in Chicago, the United Center is on the west side in the hood. Like, I don't, like I said, I ain't been to New York, but if it's anything,
the finals at the United Center, boy, those bums will be charging $100 a parking.
$100 is cheap. They going up. They running up. They like, yeah, park right here. They like, park right here. They'll tell you to park right here. Steal your car, move it, and then tell somebody else park right here. Steal your car, move it. Just keep selling that. Just keep selling that same spot.
Standing there. Them bought they vest from Home Depot.
Yep, that's their work vest.
Yes, sir. And New York is a scammer town. Yeah, it's going down. It's going down.
So I don't know. Maybe my mind is just always on that side of things.
On safety.
But that's something to look out for. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it
is. But speaking of. Now, you mentioned the Cavs, but I want to go back even farther than that, because the last time we did an episode, it was right before. It was the day of Game 7 of the Cavs in Detroit. And Detroit ended up going home. So my question was, Detroit being this one seed in the East, what's next for them? Do they re-sign Jalen Duren? Now, he just got announced to the third All-NBA third team, I believe it was, which now he's eligible for the Supermax of $287 million.
Nobody gonna give him that. Might as well we just saw. He might get half
So
that.
that's my question. What does Detroit do now? Because he wants that
I say
max.
they
Do they
throw
give him the
everything they
max or
got
do
in the
they let
kitchen
him
sink
walk?
at Giannis. I throw everything in you got in the kitchen sink at trying to get Giannis or somebody like that to try to buy in and be able to swap contracts. Cause I mean they got a decent little core, but I mean we all know everybody's gonna get better over the summer. So if they just stick with that, as we saw as a 1 seed, they almost got knocked out in the first round, and then they got knocked out in the second round. So um, I think it's time for a new coach there as well. I think maybe he got them to where he can get them. Maybe it's time for that next coach to really propel them. Maybe somebody, maybe a Jason Kidd or somebody like that. They need somebody with a little more experience at winning to get them over that next level. But yeah, man. Hey, just like with the Packers, and all the trouble they're going through, I'm hoping that Detroit falls on their ass. So
But
hopefully
I
they fumble
also,
all of this and end up in the middle of the pack next year.
but I also think that there's some young guys too. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to bash the coach Bickerstaff because I mean he resurrected that team. He brought them from the mud.
Yeah.
You remember right before they had what's his name that was with Phoenix right before he signed that $70 million contract that they still paying him for. Um,
Mm.
I can't think of the coach's name right now. I don't spend too much time on it, but they spent $70 million to bring him in and they did nothing. They still ended up with a high pick. But then you bring in Bickerstaff and they immediately become a contender in the East. So I don't want to bash him.
They might give him
Obviously
one more shot at
he
it since they
did get
did so
out.
well. Yeah, they might give him
So
one more shot at it.
but I mean, does that one shot include bringing Duren back for the max? If you Chicago, do you now think you got a little extra courage that you can steal him away from Detroit? Do you want to try to steal him away from Detroit? I mean,
Hey,
for me,
and on the other side of that, I'm hoping that Chicago tries to get in on the Giannis sweepstakes. I don't know how much we really got to offer and all of that, but I think everything is on the table for these guys in our division because right
I
now, I mean, it's up for
I
grabs.
don't think that's on the table for Chicago. That would
Yeah, I don't think
surprise
so
me.
either. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
This is
It's not going to stick
because
to the wall. Just like the old Jordan Morant thing, I keep screaming.
yeah,
I know
but
how
I mean,
things are.
this is a rebuild. The Bulls
Yeah,
aren't looking to win a championship from this offseason. They just right now trying to accumulate talent. This is a
right.
rebuild.
Yeah,
Not to
new
say
front
that it
office, new
can't,
coach.
not to say that you can't put something together because you got some serious assets, but right now it's about stacking talent. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they use some of that cap space just to take on bad contracts to get extra draft picks.
Mm.
But somebody like Jalen Duren, the reason I keep harping back on that is the kid is only 22.
Yeah, he is
He's
very
only
young.
22.
Yeah,
Um, Depending on who the coach is, you can probably coach him up to have a better performance. And
yeah,
not only that, but the makeup of the team. Cade dominated. And there's nothing wrong with that. Cade is a superstar. Cade is an
yes, sir.
MVP contender.
Yeah,
But it was at times where, I mean, Jalen Duren is the kind of guy you got to feed. They didn't try to feed him a lot. So you got to look at that too. I mean, with somebody like the Bulls, Giddey is not as offensively aggressive as Cade. I'll say it like that. He's probably more likely to feed a Jalen Duren. But on the flip side, and I keep going back and forth on, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to know y'all thoughts on this too. This is just me working through things out loud. But on the flip side, I wonder if you get Caleb Wilson with the number 4 pick, the spacing become a problem with him and Duren because neither one's gonna stretch the floor. So they both gonna hang out in that 15 to 18-foot range. Does it get a little clogged up in there?
you think
That
Boozer's a
was
better
one of
shooter
the
than Wilson?
well, that's a fact. That's a fact. Boozer shoots threes. That's a fact. So, my concern with that is I kind of have a concern with that spacing with the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Walker Kessler might be a better fit um, because he can kind of step out and shoot, but he gonna do the dirty work. He gonna do the grind work. He'll give you 10 and 13 or something like that. But he also gonna give you blocks. He's 7'2".
Yeah,
So I like that. I like him a little bit better. But the thought of Jalen Duren, 22 years old, the sky's still the limit for the kid. And I know he had a bad showing. And last week, I had a rant about it. And a lot of that was just an emotional reaction right then and there. And I still
Yeah,
feel
of
like
course.
he don't deserve the max right now. But at the same time, 22, third team All NBA, 20-10 this season, about a block.
Yeah.
Although I want to see that block go up to a block and a half to 2 blocks with his athleticism. But I feel like he's still a ball of clay that can still be molded into more.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be mad if the Bulls made a play for him. He's 22. He fits the timeline of the rebuild.
Oh yeah. Right coach for him, it's on. No doubt. We talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you end up with one of those coaches from either OKC or San Antonio, they both have experience with developing big men.
It is.
So that's something to look at too. So I'm curious about you guys' thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen. So get down in those comments and let me know what you think about that. Does Jalen Duren re-sign with Detroit? Does Detroit offer him the max? Does Chicago jump in? Do you want to see Chicago jump in? But now let's talk about the Cavs. Do you foresee them making big changes this offseason?
Yeah, man. You hear the echoes. We're all hearing the rumors. There's a chance that LeBron might be coming home to finish his career there. The question is, do they have to get rid of Spider for that to happen, or are they adding LeBron to that? Will LeBron take, a smaller contract and come home? But from what we've been hearing, that's not going to happen. So somebody got to move. There's a lot of money over there. We just talked about Mobley making 50 a year. So I mean, between him and Spider and Harden's contract, oh, that's probably at the so it's going to be tough to see how they're going to pull that off. But I really think that might be happening. I think that. And by the way, how confident is Charles Barkley to tell Matt Strus to his face that he's a pretty man? You're a pretty man.
Man, he did do that, didn't he? I'd push that out of my
Charles
memory
Barkley
bank.
was
That did
a
happen. That
that
did happen.
happened.
That's right. He compared him to Tom Brady. He was like, he's
Like,
Tom
come on,
Brady.
man, how you feel? Come on, Charles. You ain't got no
That
wife. You
did
got now you got
happen.
us one. He's a funny dude, man, and that's why we
I
were
forgot
sad when they
about
were
that.
talking about getting rid of the show because they are really funny at what they do. But I do see some
Charles
changes coming
Barkley, a
there because
national
of that
treasure.
fact. Hey, I saw a reel the other day. Guys were like, acting like one was the owner of the Cavs and the other was the owner of the Clippers. And he's like, hey, I got a great trade for you. How about we trade Harden for the same trade they did because you just let go of a young stud that really hasn't. Y'all really think I think he would have been better for them in this series. Imagine him a lot faster, better shooter. I mean, Harden, you saw what they did to him on defense. They cooked him alive. I mean, so that didn't work out. So
It
I
didn't
think that
work
was a
out.
bust on that trade. Nothing against Harden. I feel like he gave his best. But we're looking at the future. Y'all risked the future for now, and it did not work out. So, but yeah, I think because of that, they're not done making moves. That they was hoping that it was going to work, and they're not going to roll with that same thing next year. Question is, where does
Yeah.
Harden go now?
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. Does he try to go back? Because I want. Does he got a player option or is he unrestricted? I can't remember how his situation is, but I think the first move they need to do is fire Kenny Atkinson.
Hmm.
Fire Kenny Atkinson. You need a better coach. As a matter of fact, you might have him on the sideline, Johnny Bryant. You might just need to promote him. But moving on. Moving on. There's tonight's game is we too close to do a breakdown of how that's gonna go. It's pointless because by the time this comes out, that's gonna be going. But
Yeah.
it's 2-2 right now at the time of this, and we all made our picks. I think you were the only one that picked the Spurs. Uh, After that game one, it was looking like they was gonna run away with it. It it's looking like this is a 7-game series. I'm hoping still that it's a 7-game series. I'm not changing my pick, but I said from the jump that I was going to be cheering for the Spurs, and I have been. I would love to see the Spurs win, but it's just And it's hard for me to bet against the ones that's been there, that experience. Even that includes how refs call things. They always
Yeah.
tend to favor the vets. That's just how it goes. But do you still see this series going the same way? Have you changed any thoughts, theories? How are you reacting?
Think
What are you
if
seeing
if
so far?
if anybody watched that episode when we first talked about this series, I think I kind of predicted it. I said when we're going 7, I said you're gonna have a couple of close games. I said you're gonna have a couple of blowouts. In 4 games, we've already had all of that. We've already had exactly what I thought. I think this is a heavyweight fight. This is the finals right now. And no matter what, man, I think we just, like you said, even Wemby came back out last game. And I love
I
how
love Evil
they're
Wemby.
adjusting game to game because you saw how they was working him out. They working him out just straight grabbing his arm. So they doing everything that they're doing to him. And by the way, NBA, man, people always trying to say it's rigged and there's something going on. Hardenstein basically committed a crime on that man in game 2. Like, there's no way he doesn't foul out or come close to it. And it was I mean, at least 5 or 6 calls I saw myself that didn't call. Like, you can't let that go. And when we got grade A basketball, I'm seeing stats like, most viewed ever games out of this series. Like, don't blow this opportunity. Don't make it look like that, man. Call fouls when they need to be called. Don't make Wemby go through that we've seen in the past where you gotta, pay your dues and you gotta no, man. Off this man and 8K. So you can't make us
That's
think that that's okay and then tell us that this is a great game. This is what we should be watching. Make the game fair. This guy should be getting to the line a lot more. And the way that Shea falls for fun, and we both are Shea fans, we think he's a great player, but that fall rate is starting to get ridiculous because at this point we're all just waiting for him to do it. Like, is he going to try to fall this time? Is he going? I want to see straight great basketball, man. I don't want to see guys trying to get away with stuff because they think they can. I'm tired of that. I want a good game.
yeah, yeah. But a lot of that, and look like your light went off. I don't know if you noticed, but a
Don't
lot
get
of that,
dog, man. We some more light here.
a lot of that is a part of why I made the pick that I made, because, like I say, how they call things for the vets. That's
Yep.
a prime example.
Yep.
But
Yep.
about Evil Wemby. And we talk about Evil Wemby in our chats amongst us, but I haven't mentioned Evil Wemby to the fans. But Evil Wemby is the guy that you saw in game 1 and game 4. The one that just takes over. I don't care. I need to be the bad guy. That is the
Half-court threes
version of
all night.
Wemby I love to see. So, and I told you guys this, so this one is for the fans, but because of how great Wemby is, the potential, the size, the ability, no
Yeah.
holes in his game, I judge Wemby different.
Yeah.
Wemby is not
Yeah, you do.
allowed to have a normal good game, for the game that's good for everybody else, because he's not everyone else. He is a
Yeah.
freak of nature, so his numbers should show that. It should.
Yeah.
You remember when, we both diehard Bulls fans from back in the
Yeah.
MJ day. And you remember when MJ was playing, when MJ got less than 30, what did they say? That was an off
And
night.
he had a subpar game. Yeah, they did. They did. Like, oh yeah, Mike
I'm
Mike is off a little bit today. He only had 27.
There's no reason Wemby should have less than 30 points any night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I know
He's
there's
showing
things
us.
that
Yeah.
happen, but that is a guy that he is 7'3", 7'4", with not a hole in his game. He can do everything and he towers over everyone. No one can stop him one-on-one with consistently. Maybe you might get lucky
True.
once or twice here and there, but there's no reason Evil Wemby should not be there every single night. 30 should
Facts.
be a minimum.
I agree.
If he
Yeah, I agree.
puts up 28 or 29, oh damn, Wemby had an off night. That's how I'm looking
Hey,
at it.
but be honest, did I tell you that game 2 that they were getting ready to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him? Didn't I tell you that?
Absolutely.
And that's
As they
exactly what
should.
they did. Yeah,
As
and I
they
think
should.
I think they just about adjustments. Like, they have to see how the game is gonna get played. We saw how the refs called it. Now, and that third game, it was a little back and forth, but I think they really, really missed having, Harper out there. Dylan Harper is a prime part of what they do. I think they really missed him in game 3. So hey, coming out now, hey, it's 0-0 again. So it's exciting, man. It's basically a 5-game series.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm loving it. It's heavyweights, back and forth. Um, so I love everything about this series. I hope it continues to go and go 7 games because it's prime time. Although we've all been saying, and I'm guilty of this too, but I need to retract a little bit. We've been saying that this is the finals.
Yeah.
But that to me is an insult to the Knicks. I feel like
Okay.
the Knicks will represent in a good way.
They are playing well
Will
right
it go
now, too.
7?
Yeah.
I don't know. But the Knicks will make a good series with either of these teams, I do believe. So I don't want to discredit them fully. I've never been a Knicks fan, but I want to show love to everybody. This is even though we diehard Bulls, Bears, Cubs fans, I still want to show love because this is an all sports channel. This isn't a Chicago centric channel, even though that's how it turns out most of the time. But the Knicks are a very good team, and I out of all of the teams in the East, this is probably the team that will give the best series.
For sure. I agree.
You got a 7-footer that can stretch the court too over there, and you got a point guard that's physical that gets to the free throw line as well over there, and you got some dogs. So, and then you got that New York crowd, man.
Hey, so it don't matter.
I'm looking forward. I think this is still going to be a really good finals.
Okay.
So shout out to my Knicks fan, my Knicks homies. There, I gave you one.
Oh yeah.
Leave me the hell alone.
The Knicks fans are super excited right now. I'm happy for them, bro.
Now leave me the hell alone.
I gave y'all some love. I don't want to hear it no more. But I'm dogging y'all.
So now moving on. Look ahead to a little bit of the offseason. You know, somehow in a way we're gonna fit this draft into every discussion until it comes. But I heard today, and I've been hearing the OKC really wants to move up in the draft. But I heard today that they are really trying to package both of their picks, 12 and 17, to move up. They covet Cam Boozer. They want
Oh my
Boozer
goodness, man. We don't want that. No. Let's not let that happen in NBA.
They want Boozer.
Yeah, they know they need a bigger presence down low. When we all seeing it.
I'm almost more concerned about them getting a Diamara 7-4. So have a 7-2 and 7-4 hit the 4 and 5.
Twin towers to go with them guards. Oh man.
As a counter to Wemby.
Yeah, we don't want,
because that's what I would do if I was running the show.
And like you said, no matter what, they're going to get a decent player. It's just about which one. So hopefully nobody's out here trying to help them get better because they already running things. Like, we don't need that.
Okay. Hypothetical. They come calling. Hey, Bryson Graham. You know, we really covered Cam Boozer. We want to move up to number 4. If he's there, we'll offer you 12, 17, and 2 future firsts. What do you say, Bryson?
I mean, like you said, we're not trying to win right now.
It's hard, man, because you don't want to help them, but they also still got.
Keep a couple of those picks. Throw J-Dub in. And it's a D.
I don't know. Well, we differ on that because a lot of people will say that. I like the picks. J-Dub is a max player with injury concerns.
How old is he? 24, 25, though? You know, these dudes are so young, man, on that team. Like, they got a team full of young.
Yeah, but he's already in this. Next season is the first year of that max salary. It hit different when you're playing half a season at $60 million.
And that's a lot of money. These dudes out here making 45 or 55 million a piece. Like, and ain't one. That's the biggest thing.
We talking like 60. We talking like 60, fam.
Some of these, it's dudes that played 20 years in the league and they make this money that these dudes making in one season, man. It's just crazy, man.
It's a new day.
I agree.
It's a new day. We got all this TV money with Amazon Prime.
If OKC wins the ship or not, they still are in the driver's seat right now.
Both teams are. Because San Antonio got a boatload. They still got picks left, too. Both teams are in a good spot as far as that's concerned. So,
this might be the new dynasty that we watching play against each other a lot. This
yeah.
might be that Golden State Cavs that we had back
I
in,
was just getting ready to say, you remember that Golden State Cavs, and this time you're gonna get it
hey,
in on one side.
and that's the thing. You don't want that. They got to figure out a way to get the East a little better, man. Because we got to have a good championship game. We can't look at it like that. But the West's been running it for a while, though. You got to be honest.
Well, that, and then you got the small market teams finally got smart. They realized they couldn't sign all these players, so they started trading away for boatloads of draft picks.
Yeah, let me do what I got to do.
And teams got thirsty trying to put super teams together, that they giving up all these draft picks for a 1 or 2 year rental that doesn't work out. And now OKC is still getting draft picks from the Paul George trade. And Paul George was there for like a second.
It was amazing just to even talk about that. That is amazing as we watch him crumble.
And when I hear people say that they hate OKC, I don't know why. Because that's player shit. They did what they was supposed to do. Everybody wanted to leave.
What do people say that have a lot of things? How'd you get this?
I put in the work. I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to come here. Nobody wanted to stay. All right, so I'm going to give them away, but I'm not going to give them away. Yeah, how bad you want them? They wanted them bad. Be mad at Philly. Be mad at the Clippers for giving away all that. That's who you need to hate, the one that enabled them. You look at Utah. That's Danny Ainge over there. He doing the same thing he did in Boston when they put Tatum and Brown together. When last week I talked about that they got the chance to build the next big duo, he's building Tatum and Brown again. He's doing the same thing. Ain't nobody signing with Utah. We talked about that. No one's going to Utah. So what do? We're going to trade away Donovan Mitchell. We're going to trade away Rudy Gobert, and we're going to get a shit ton of draft picks, and we're going to be OKC in 5 years.
Put them dogs in and just coach them up and make them love where they at. And then, like you said, if you already got drafted by that team, they can offer you the most money. So it's a smart way to do it.
Yeah. So that's just good business. I don't hate them. I admire them. I want somebody over there to be working on my team. I'm hoping that's how we move in next, going forward with Bryson Graham.
Some more light while you going to the next one, so that way you don't lose, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's something that is major going forward. This draft is going to be serious, and I'm like you though. I don't want to see nobody help out OKC. I don't want them to get boozed because that's just going to be that's just going to be unbelievable. But speaking of some more offseason stuff, we got another OKC and San Antonio battle of sorts between their assistant coaches. Dave Bliss from OKC and Sean Sweeney from San Antonio. These are both guys that tailored the defenses that we're seeing now in this battle with OKC and San Antonio. And now these two are finalists for both the Bulls job and the Mavs job. Snow. How does that? I just want to know your reaction to that they're not only battling for the Western Conference, they also battling for the top coaching gigs.
They deserve it. I mean, we see what's going on in those teams. We're seeing the maturation of the players. We're seeing it. So, hey, when you see that kind of thing happening, you got to reward it. So, I mean, you can't do nothing but salute those guys. I mean, OKC and the Spurs both have fans that they used to didn't have because of how well they've been playing the last few years and the things that they've been gathering when it comes to assets, when it comes to players. So, hey, man, it will be nice. We need some of that nice, young, fresh blood that's going to bring some guys in and make them better with us. We got to make that happen. So I love it.
Yeah, no doubt. And with that being said, I know we said this ain't a Bulls-centric channel, but that's my team, and I know a lot about what's going on with them. So we're going to talk about that right now. The Bulls named, well, I should say they were named. The Bulls didn't say it. A reporter said it. But the 5 finalists were named for the Bulls head coaching job. And they are Dave Bliss, who I mentioned, assistant coach for OKC, Sean Sweeney, assistant coach for San Antonio. Then there's also Chris Quinn, assistant for Miami Heat, who I'm a fan of. He's been there since like
Okay.
2013. So that heat culture is something everyone talks about. He could
No
bring
doubt.
that.
No doubt. That's true.
And there's Micah Nori, the assistant for the Timberwolves, who we've heard his name a lot when we thought Matt
Okay.
Lloyd was going to be the GM.
Right.
And then the fifth guy is Tiago Splitter, who I'm also a really big fan of. Tiago Splitter was the acting head coach this season for the Portland Trailblazers. Y'all might
Okay.
remember it was actually Chauncey Billups was the head coach, but right as the season started, that whole
Right.
issue
Dang, I forget
came
all about
down.
that.
That whole issue came down with
Yeah.
the betting scandal and all of that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Chauncey ended up having to go handle his legal troubles. That's how
Yeah.
Tiago Splitter ended up getting that job. And
Okay. Okay.
he did a
She did a hell of a job.
masterful job.
Yeah.
Chauncey Billups couldn't
Yeah.
get that team in the playoffs.
They actually played really well this season
Scoot
with a
Henderson
bunch of
was
guys you
looking
really don't
like
know
a
like that.
Scoot Henderson was looking like a bust until this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He
Tiago
looked really
Splitter
good
has
in the
shown
playoffs too.
development. And then here's
Yeah.
the thing for me. D Snow, I always like me a good story. And 5-6 years ago, when AK was running the show in Chicago, they traded away Lauri Markkanen to the Portland Trailblazers for a future for a lottery protected first round pick that it's just never it never came across. Portland traded away Dame. They didn't make the playoffs, so they kept getting
Right.
all of those picks. And the second Tiago Splitter comes, they get to the playoffs. Tiago Splitter gets us that pick. D Snow is the perfect story for him to be able to coach said pick.
Not gonna lie, it'll look like he fixed it this way.
It's kind of like when Lovie Smith got the Bears that number one pick.
And I loved it. I love it. He like, man, let me help y'all out, boys.
It's like you almost kind of want to reward him. You got us this pick.
Nothing
Go
wrong
on and
with
coach him.
that. that would be an ultimate chess move. I would love that. At this point, man, it's not like we got a guy like what the Bears did that's got this hot name that everybody's talking about that we really want bad. I just want
Honestly,
to see some good things come Charlotte with.
all five of those are hot names.
Okay. Okay.
There were, so when the initial search came out and the whole list of names, there was only two names on the list that I didn't care for. Wes
Okay.
Unseld, who's the current assistant under Billy Donovan.
So that's the son of the dad, right?
Yeah, Junior.
Okay.
And
Because I'm
then,
like, Wes Unseld, we bringing him back?
well, he's a really good offensive mind, but
Okay.
his defenses were terrible.
Okay.
And James Borrego,
Okay.
who did, I want to say he did 2 stints with the Charlotte Hornets. And,
Okay.
the Hornets are just now starting to get good. So that didn't work. So I didn't like those two names, but they are not on the list of finalists. All 5 finalists, I'm good with either one. With any one of those names, I like all 5. So I like the direction the team seems to be going in.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if I have a favorite. There's something I like about each and every one of those guys. So if you
Nothing
look
wrong
at
with that.
Micah Nori with the Timberwolves, you remember when they still had Cat, when he ran into the coach on the sideline and the coach got injured
Yeah.
for the playoffs. Micah
Yeah.
Nori was the one that stepped in and won that series.
Okay.
So he got a playoff win. He got a playoff series win under his belt, not just a game, a series. So I like that.
Yeah.
I like Tiago. I just gave you the rundown. Chris Quinn played. He's a former player. He played with Notre Dame. You might remember. He's got some
I remember
Chicago
Chris Quinn.
ties.
Yeah. No, I remember.
So and like I said, he's been down there under what you call it in Miami for a long time. Eric Spoelstra, and we've all talked about him being one of the best coaches in the league.
Came from
So
under a good umbrella. Okay.
you've been down there since 2013.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then both of the two guys that are in the Western Conference Finals right now, need I say more? So I love this list. I don't have any issues with any guy on there. The only issue I would say is I wish Rondo's name would have been on there. His name wasn't even on the original list. Stackhouse was.
I want them to get it done before the draft too. We need to already have that in place.
Yeah, and I think they will because the draft is like June 23rd.
Okay.
I think they'll have somebody in place by the end of next week.
Okay.
That's my guess, but I think that they want to get it done as soon as possible because they got to prepare for the draft, and you have to know what kind of system you're going to run. So yeah. But moving on, a couple more topics I want to go get on before we get on up out of here. Oh, and one more thing I want to mention because it happened right after we aired, but Dallas moved on from Jason Kidd. We didn't talk about that yet. And now, because they clean the house, so to speak, everyone is waiting to see what's going to happen with Kyrie. Teams are waiting to see if they decide to move on from Kyrie. And it's a few teams that Kyrie, I think, will look real good with. One of which I think is Minnesota. I think they need to go after Kyrie or Ja Morant. They need a point guard over there. One of them star point guards.
Look real good together. Yeah.
So that's going to be real interesting to see. Like I said, this is going to be one of the biggest off seasons I can remember. It's going to be so many moving parts. This league going to look so different next year. But moving on real quick, June 1st is quickly approaching, D Snow. Well, what's so special? What's so special about June 1st? Well, there's the potential trade of A.J. Brown from the Eagles. There's been reported that there's going to be a deal with the New England Patriots. But I don't know that that's official yet. It's expected, but I don't think it's quite guaranteed. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be under the table deal. But one of the teams that was interested before it had come out that the New England is going to be the team was the Rams. Could the Rams re-engage in trade talks on the 1st next week and make a play for A.J. Brown?
That would be nasty. That would be a nasty turn of events, and that would make them my Super Bowl favorites. That adding him to that offense, that would be ridiculous. But I mean, I think the whole thing with the Patriots, the way they kept putting it out there, and the only way that's not happening is something falls out of place. I think that's already kind of done.
Well, let me stop you right there. Because I was feeling the same way too about it being a done deal, and unless something happens. But something did happen. The whole coaching scandal with the reporter that happened after the news with Vrabel and Rossini. Now, A.J. Brown might not sway him, but who knows if Vrabel stays? He might not want the smoke. What if Vrabel ends up leaving?
It's going to be a big day in the NFL. You know, they're going to splash. They're going to splash hard. So we'll see. That might be the first thing we see come across at 12 midnight. It might not.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see. Now, it's not a big day as far as like free agency because that's already taken place. But I think it's just certain players have guaranteed money after certain days. So that's the reason why you got to wait. Certain guarantees are June 1st. That's why you see post June 1st cuts or something like that. It's cheaper for the team to wait.
Yeah.
But last thing I want to talk about real quick before we go on and wrap this up, because we approaching an hour. This Sunday, you know, I said I was going to bring a little talk from time to time, but this Sunday, WWE Clash in Italy on ESPN Unlimited. First hour is going to be on ESPN proper. So if you don't have the unlimited plan, tune into your cable ESPN, check out that first hour.
They're gonna tease you. They're gonna tease you to try to get you to spend that money.
They've been doing that the last couple now. So
that's smart though. That's smart.
It is. It really is.
No, that's what MMA does though. MMA was doing the same thing with ESPN, where they show the first few matches, and as soon as they got to the money matches, that thing will go pay per view. So it was smart because it's getting you intrigued and at least getting you tuned in. And if you really like it, you're gonna swap over. You know.
Yeah. And we got some good matches. This is a strong card, D Snow. Coming from me, a true wrestling fan, this is a strong card. You got Becky Lynch, the man, Becky Lynch. I love me some Becky Lynch. She is the women's Intercontinental Champion, and she's going up against the newcomer who just signed with WWE like 2 weeks ago, Sol Ruka from Hawaii. D Snow, I know you probably ain't really been tapped into this wrestling thing, but this girl Sol Ruka, you get a chance, tap in on some highlights. This girl cold. She from Hawaii. She's like a gymnast or an acrobat or something. So her flip game is crazy. Are you familiar with the RKO? You know the RKO?
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, you remember we watched during the Attitude Era. You remember DDP? You remember the
Yeah.
Diamond Cutter?
Yeah.
It's kind of a variation of that, basically. You drop down on the neck, kind of like a hybrid
That's a
stunner.
dangerous move, man.
So Shorty got a new variation you ain't never seen in your life. You staggered in the corner, facing the ropes, facing the corner. She runs up to corner, runs up those three, and reverse flips inside. Boom. Catches you. Drops. She called it the Soul Snatcher.
Oh, that I'm gonna have to see that. All right, I'm gonna pull that up on YouTube after the show. I gotta check that out.
D Snow, that might be the sickest finish I ever seen.
I gotta
bro.
see it.
She runs up
live. You telling me I gotta see it.
She does one of them tuck flips. She flips inside.
So you gotta be athletic to pull this off.
Catches you. Yeah, she like an acrobat, a gymnast or something. So she flipped crazy. She be doing handstands and walking. Like, she cold, bro. She only like 2 weeks in.
Shout out to WWE making sure that they got a fine lineup of lady wrestlers, because we came up in the times of Mount Fuji and China. They was a little borderline. I ain't gonna throw no slate nor hate on nobody, but
they bad.
That lineup now is crazy.
These talk about the lineup of the ladies. They got a chick. So they got WWE has a program called NXT. It's essentially like they G League. You know what I'm saying? You go over here and get good and then get called up. So a lot of their talent now has been coming up through that, which is good because you learning a lot under them. And so you know that you're going to be a star when you come up because you already got a fan base. So they got a chick down there. I forget her name. But these she has her finishing move called the Yam Slam.
I seen that. I've seen that on Reels. I've seen that on the Reels. Now that I've seen.
The Yam Slam is dirty work. These the Yam Slam. The Yam Slam. I said, wait, what? Let me rewind that.
Let me see if the Yams actually slam.
No, the women's division is lit. They got some baddies and some cold wrestlers. Like,
yeah.
And speaking of which, the women's world championship between Rhea Ripley, who's the champ, and Jade Cargill. This is a rematch from WrestleMania. Jade Cargill was the champ. Rhea ended up taking the belt. Rhea took the belt from her, but Jade Cargill really beat the shit out of Rhea at WrestleMania. She was dominant. Rhea ended up, it was one of those where she ended up last minute just getting the moves on some Rocky shit. Okay. Like, I got my ass beat, but I finally ended up managing to win. So they got their rematch. And Jade Cargill, she fine and she swole. She's a fucking monster. So I can't wait to see that rematch. Okay. Then you got another WrestleMania rematch with Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. D Snow at WrestleMania. Obafemi, another newcomer that came up under their NXT program. This is their new monster. He go about 6'4", maybe 6'3", 6'4", 300 and 315, 320. Solid muscle. He was a shot putter. WWE got an NIL program. They bringing up kids, this college athletes.
Wow.
Football players and all that. You ain't gonna go to the NFL? We got NIL program. You come over here. And that's bringing up a lot of talent. That was a smart move by them. But Obafemi, the new monster of the WWE, he retired Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. He beat Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar took off his gloves, his shoes, left them all in the ring. That's how a wrestler retires. He tried all that. He came back a week ago like, nah. And gave him 4 F5s. Boom, 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 4. I'm back for this. I'm still retired, but I need my get back. That's gonna be a smash. That's gonna be a banger. And then you got 2 world title matches on the men's side. You got the undisputed WWE championship. Cody Rhodes is the champion. He won the belt right before WrestleMania. He retained at WrestleMania, but he's going against Gunther, the man that retired John Cena. It's a big, nasty Austrian dude. one of those dudes who walks with his hands behind his back. And Cody Rhodes, I talk like this, and you are nothing. You are not a man. You are like he's one of those.
Okay.
I must break him type of guys. You know what I'm saying?
He just might break.
So that's gonna be a good one. And then the matchup that I'm looking forward to, another rematch from Backlash, Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu. Now Backlash, it was a great fight. Excuse me, let me clean my nose a little bit. Backlash, it was a great fight. I feel like Jacob Fatu really put them paws on Roman. He was whooping on Roman. He was really beating Roman ass. Roman was hitting with everything. Jacob kept popping back up. But then Roman had to, you know, pull a cover off the ropes and you know, cheat a little bit to win. So this time, it's called tribal combat. There's no rules in this fight.
Oh, so it's going to get dirty.
It's going to get dirty. And if Jacob Fatu loses, he has to either acknowledge Roman as his tribal chief or get fired.
Ooh.
So it's a lot of intrigue.
Okay.
So it's a strong card. This is Sunday. They usually do it on Saturday, but it's in Italy, so the time zone is different. So it's going to be Sunday, about 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. So that's going to be a great one. Right now, Jacob Fatu and Trick Williams. Trick Williams, another one of those NXT stars that came up. You'll love him, D Snow. He kind of a mix of Booker T and The Rock. In fact, Booker T. In fact, he trained under Booker T. His theme song, since his name Trick Williams, his theme song, he got the beat so cold when it hit, the crowd be like, "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick, whoop that trick."
You ran me in.
He's a former football player, played for Mississippi. He was a wide receiver, but now he didn't put on some weight. He go about 6'5", 250, so he got the look. He be out there with a mink coat on. Lil Yachty is his manager. Lil Yachty come out with him. Lil Yachty be throwing money in the crowd.
Okay. So next time he wrestles, you gotta let me know. I gotta make sure I tune in.
Okay. Yeah. You'll like him. But him and Jacob Fatu are my two favorites right now. I said that to say that. So I feel like I think it's still early. I don't think they're gonna give it to Fatu, but I hope they do. I want Fatu to win. I'm a big Roman Reigns fan. He is my tribal chief. You know, I acknowledge. But I love me some Jacob Fatu, man.
It's nice when the belt goes back and forth too. You know, that way you're keeping all the fans happy. You know, it's nice to see those little upsets.
Especially when they're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? And they cousins. Little cousin win and becomes the new tribal chief. That would be intriguing. And I like the story that they go on with. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the bad egg, the bad seed. He's been locked up, been in prison for, I think he said like 8 years or something like that. He was locked up for.
Wow. Okay.
So the storyline is like, you've been up here winning and running things while you left my family broke. So I'm up here to take everything.
Like the Creed storyline, Creed 3.
Yeah, that's like that. So I'm like, I like that. He's like, so I'm here to take everything. So I love that storyline. It's real. It's gritty. So I'm here for that. I can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be, I think that's a hell of a card. And I'm looking forward to it. Yes, so, ladies and gentlemen, definitely appreciate y'all spending y'all time with us today. Definitely want to hear from you guys. Get down in those comments. Tell us what you thought about this show, each one of these topics. And if you disagree, let us know. But D Snow, you got anything else for him before we go and wrap it up?
On our way out the door, man, as Aaron Rodgers signed on for one more year, he announced that this is his final season. So this is the final season of a bad man. Let's see what he tries to do out there in Pittsburgh. We all know they ain't going nowhere, but you know, this is his final season. So shout out to the 40 and ups. We still doing our thing.
Right on. And ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we definitely appreciate y'all for stopping by. We love y'all. We thank y'all. And from us here at OMS Sports, we'll holla.
Sir, see y'all next time.
Yes, sirski. Peace.